Professor Layton is my favorite trilogy series on the Nintendo DS. The first 3 games are phenomenal, and I really wanted to do a challenge for them, but considering the games are visual novels with set puzzles and solutions, I really couldn't think of a challenge at all. Until well now, where I had the most genius and stupid idea to play the game in Italian, and all I can use is my memory of me 100%ing the game a year ago. Yeah, for those who don't know, I don't speak Italian. I'm not allowed to look up any words, and I'm only allowed to search up the solution if it's a story puzzle that I can skip, and I would technically be able to solve it if I just tried different solutions. Without further ado, if you enjoyed the video, do consider subscribing, cause I make a lot of dumb videos like this. So let's get puzzling. We start the game and are greeted with a cutscene dubbed in English. This is one of the few times this happens. I could explain the story to you, but I kinda skipped through it and the text is in Italian, so play the game for yourself, will you? We start our first puzzle, which is just circling a village. Considering I knew what the question was, this was a pretty easy puzzle, and even if I didn't know and I had forgotten, I would have just needed to guess like 5 times. We arrive at the village and are greeted with our next multiple choice puzzle. Once again, very easy. Just gotta see what fits, you know? The next puzzle is exactly the same, just guess. No reason to try and translate it, and you know, I still know what the questions are about, so it's easy. Puzzle 4 on the other hand is different with this. We need a bit of strategy because I only remember half of the puzzle. It has something to do with directions, so we can already conclude that the houses that face the same way are probably not going to be the answer, which leaves us with 2 options, and yeah, one of them was right. We move a bit further in the story and get to a very annoying puzzle because the answer to this one is always randomized whenever you restart the puzzle, making it instead of like 8 different answers, kind of an infinite amount of tries that can happen, you know? But I do know how this puzzle works. Well, half, because I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. Like, we are either looking for like the weight that weighs the least or the weight that weighs the most. So I just do the puzzle and I hope it's the lighter one, and I do the other one first and I got it. We're almost at the mansion where our story begins, but we are held up by a little raft puzzle. This one is annoying. I know exactly what I have to do, and even without explanation, it's just an annoying puzzle if you don't remember what to do. So I just keep trying and trying and trying, and you know, I get it, because sometimes a puzzle just requires a lot of trial and error. After we finish that puzzle, we finally make our way to the mansion and are ready for this game to finally really start. Once in the mansion, we move on to another puzzle where we see a cute dog made of matches, and if I remember correctly, this dog has been run over and we have to place the matches in such a way that the dog has been run over. What a sickening game! Should have been rated 16 or higher. We get some story stuff we will skip cause, well, getting a bit of story you understand could as well be no story. We do see the cat escaping, but before we go after that cat, because we obviously have to do that, we finish off another puzzle. It's a math puzzle, and it's not even that hard, like, it's not even a puzzle, it's just so obvious. We then come across another puzzle which I obviously remember the answer of. Or, well, I guess not. Okay, so this is the first actual puzzle where we need to get some clues from the text, which is difficult, because I don't speak Italian. So we know we have like 20 minutes, and I guess sank means 5 and a bordo means on board, so there is like a boat and another smaller boat where 5 people at a time can be on. And nove means 9, I think. The only thing I don't know is if it's back and forth 9 minutes or if it's just like one round to the islands in 9 minutes. So I go with the latter, and it's the wrong answer. Well, it was the first one apparently. This was one of the first puzzles where I felt like this was actually going to be a big challenge. The next puzzle is literally giving a number from 0 to 10, so it's guessing time. The next puzzle is just again multiple choice, so easy peasy. We get interrupted for some story stuff and it seems important, but I can't understand Italian. So, guess that's that. The next puzzle involves a clock, and we need to count how many times the long arm of the clock goes over the short arm of the clock. I actually tried to make something out of the puzzle text, but I started guessing midway through because I wasn't actually sure what the time frame was, and I also counted wrong. I eventually did get it and continue pursuing the cat. We continue our puzzly adventure with another multiple choice puzzle. Yes, really. So this time I don't guess the answer, but actually think of what the answer could be and, I get it right. Cause I'm smart. At least I hope I am. In the next puzzle we have to make a woman out of a painting of an old man. Not sure what the artist meant with this, but I got this. Oh, that's not hair? I got this! In the next puzzle we have to separate the pigs with 3 lines. That's literally just peanuts easy. How do I know that? My memory, baby, woo. Yeah, I struggled on this puzzle when I first came across it. Puzzle 20 is very straightforward. I just have to connect A to A and so on. It can't be simpler than that. Well, this one took me like 10 minutes to solve. And that's very long for puzzles like this. The next puzzle is quite simple and popular because it's such an easy puzzle, and it's actually just a puzzle for babies. We then have to solve a puzzle about wine and separating them and filling up the cans with equal amounts. And honestly, I just did some stuff and got lucky with this. So no. Not lucky, not lucky, no. All pure skill, bro. We finally find the cat and bring her back. But apparently something happened while we were gone, but that's probably nothing too bad. Oh, someone's dead. That's very unfortunate. At least I think that's what happened. Not sure, I don't speak Italian. Next up we solve another puzzle about siblings and stuff that I actually fully remember on what I have to do, so that was easy. The next puzzle is also easy and there is no way that I somehow managed to get it wrong 2 times. Like for real, how did I mess up that badly? I was just starting to get cocky cause no puzzle has stopped me yet. In the next puzzle we just kinda have to type in a number, and I start with 1 and 1 was the right answer, so moving on. The next puzzle is another multiple choice, where we have to pick which drawing we can draw without lifting up the pencil, and that's honestly too easy, I don't even have to guess, it's the damn house. Like no second thought, it's obviously the house. The next puzzle has different dice, and we have to guess what the answer is, and oh, so difficult. It's a clock, okay? It's just a clock. Like I think anyone would have realized if they just saw the numbers and the dice and be like, oh yeah, that's a clock. It's easy. We start with our first puzzle being about mice, because there is a mouse on the screen. I'm not sure what the puzzle is talking about. All I know is that it's talking about 10 mice, but also I have no clue if that is important, so I just start guessing the number. I really should have started with the number 1, because that was right. I suppose the mouse was lonely because of the really sad scene you see at the end of the puzzle. I tried to sink my teeth into the next puzzle, talking about the ages of siblings, but I get so confused by all the different words and what it could be that I have to abandon this puzzle. I actually can't finish this because of the language, and I could guess, but I think the possibilities are kinda too high for me to go and guess. And it's not a story puzzle, so I'm not allowed to look up the answer. In the next puzzle we once again have a multiple choice one about not lifting up the pencil when drawing, and considering I'm not stupid, I picked the right answer. Well, not stupid. I'm not smart either, I suppose. In the next puzzle we just have to draw a bridge between the 2 islands so you can visit all the islands at once, without going over the same bridge twice. I only remembered that later because I thought I was supposed to actually look for a route without going over the same path twice, so yes, very smart of me. Other than that, the puzzle is pretty easy. The next puzzle on the other hand has multiple answer options. I know exactly what the puzzle is about. There are 42 coins and there is a rope, and if you build that rope, how many of the coins would be moved with the rope? That's the question, and honestly, no matter how dumb this question is, I just hate counting and hoping I didn't miss a single one. So I just guess and guess and guess until I get it right. The next puzzle seems like a classic Professor Layton puzzle of making an easy question sound more difficult. The answer is probably 44. I was right. At this point I actually have no clue what to do, because well, as much as the game can explain it to me, I will never understand a word because I don't speak Italian. We move on to another puzzle about someone selling a camera, and I have no fucking clue what's going on. I try to guess different answers with the numbers that I have been given, 300, 310 and 100, and I'm still not sure what to do with them. So I abandoned this puzzle because I actually have no clue. Same honestly with the next puzzles with the cards. I guessed a few numbers that would make sense with the cards, but none of them were right. So I had to abandon this one as well. The next puzzle was simple though, cause I know exactly what the puzzle is about. It's honestly a fun and simple puzzle about pills. The next puzzle is just multiple choice, so easy peasy. The puzzle after that confused me because I thought I had to calculate how many bacteria there were gonna be after a certain amount of time, but after a lot of guessing and reading the final sentence again I realized it says something completely else. Due and uno were in the same sentence. It's completely possible it was talking about, instead of starting with one, it starts with do bacteria. And then I read un hora, which probably means an hour. Yeah, it finally all makes sense, and well, the puzzle now became very easy. The puzzle after that is also probably very easy. Oh no, it's a sliding puzzle. These take hours to complete, and oh, it's already done. Huh, guess this was the easy one. The next puzzle requires me to count the triangles in the picture below, and because I am blind, I keep miscounting until I finally realize that I am blind and finally count correctly. That took an embarrassing amount of time. The puzzle after that is a multiple choice, and you know the rules, we guess. No point reading it if you're not sure what the question is gonna be anyway. After another multiple choice puzzle we solve easily cause I like guessing B and the game likes to answer B, the next question is actually pretty easy to understand and so also easy to solve. The next puzzle requires you to put in a letter, and since there are 26 of them, I'm okay with trying to guess them all. In the puzzle after that, I guess B because why shouldn't I? And it's obviously the right answer. Obviously there are 2 more multiple choice puzzles cause why wouldn't there be? I easily solve them and make my way to some story stuff and I don't really understand it. After which we get another puzzle that really isn't that difficult. You just make a triangle and like, bruh, it couldn't be more obvious. It's now morning in the game and I really feel like I missed out on some story bits, but who cares, we are here for puzzles in Italian. I remember the next puzzle because it was an obnoxious puzzle that made me think outside the box, and I still remember the solution. Okay, I genuinely misremembered what I had to answer here, my fault. In the next puzzle I just guessed a few times because if I remember correctly, just asking how many papers are laying on top of each other. I honestly don't want to count. So guessing time. The next puzzle is multiple choice. So once again, I'm telling you I just guess. I do remember the next puzzle as well. Well, what it asks me to do. I don't remember the solution, but basically you have to draw a line to cover the most distance between the 2 points without going over the same road again. This is one of those puzzles that can just be solved by slamming your head into your Nintendo DS and hoping that the solution you got is right. The next puzzle is another multiple choice puzzle. Wow, this game has many of those. Guess what the next puzzle is? Exactly! Another multiple choice puzzle. And the one after that. And the one after that. Oh, never mind. This one is just easy as well, if you just figure out what the numbers mean. But the one after that is also multiple choice. And the next one is just basically a very easy slider puzzle. After that, we do a bunch of story stuff, which I don't understand, because, you know, Italian and me. Yeah. We arrive at a puzzle which I don't want to do because of the amount of text, so I guess only once, then abandon it because fuck thinking. The next puzzle, if I remember correctly, requires us to draw a cross that's different than the one below. I try something and I get it wrong, so I decided I have had enough puzzling for the day. The next puzzle reminds me of the puzzle with the milk in the cups that we had to separate, and of course this one just goes as well, you know? Yeah, it's different enough that I couldn't fully wrap my brain around it, so this one took me 10 minutes. 10 fucking minutes! And that's actually a lot for a puzzle like this. I thought no puzzle could top me. Well, I guess I was kinda wrong. The next puzzle is definitely easy in comparison. I just had to give each queen a position so they could not hit each other. It does tingle the brain, but this is by far the easiest puzzle in this puzzle series with the queens and stuff. There are harder ones, and I didn't do them because I forgot about them. Yeah. The puzzle after that is a math puzzle, but the math is all wrong, so it's one of those puzzles that tries to confuse you. There's a logic surrounding it and it's mostly an easy solution, but like you have to get it. So I started guessing, and I guessed that right, and it was about clocks. Why? Why is it always clocks? Come on, game. The next puzzle had me guess again about how much candy a kid got, and since it was just guesswork, it isn't too bad. The next puzzle was just cutting chocolate, and honestly there aren't that many possible solutions, so it just asks us how many cuts it's needed to actually cut the whole chocolate bar into individual pieces. So like just start counting, I guess. The next one after that is about shapes. Whoa, so I start guessing like a maniac, cause what else do you expect from me? You know, read the question? Nah, it's one of those questions you can just brute force anyways, so no point in trying to understand it. The puzzle that comes after that is also about shapes, with numbers. So guess what I will be needing to calculate? Everything, because that's the only brute force I know. I'm pretty sure they are asking for the area of the red triangle, so that's honestly kinda easy. Just basic math of subtracting the 3 other triangles with the square. It's so easy. The next one is multiple choice. Yeah, easy. And the one after that, easy. In the next one, we get a real puzzle. By its definition, we just gotta repair a vase. Wow, so difficult. There is some story stuff that I don't care about because I can't understand it. And we get an empty map with a red cross randomly placed. That sure will help, yeah. I actually try a puzzle again and get it right this time, because I feel like it's one of those classic Professor Layton puzzles again. And you know, the answer is just right there. And I was right, the answer was just right there. Another multiple choice puzzle, yay. Oh look! Another one. The next one isn't multiple choice, but it also isn't that super difficult. Because, you know, there are only a few options each time you ride with the boat back and forth. Does this count as multiple choice? Yes, it does. We are now inside the sewers, and you know what that means. Puzzle time. This time it is not multiple choice, and I'm not really sure what to do, so I guess. Yeah. If you keep on guessing, you will eventually get the right answer. Words to live by. The next puzzle is a story puzzle and thus unskippable. Great. I will keep on guessing till I get this right. It can't be that difficult. Oh, it really wasn't that difficult, huh? Oh, okay. We finally make it to the abandoned amusement park. Because, yeah, why would a village actually have one? Either way, this one has one. In this puzzle we can't just keep guessing, because simply put there's actually too much going on, so it's time to try and translate this puzzle, because I know I can do that. Yeah, that wasn't too hard. It does help that I have prior knowledge on this game, because I would not have been able to do that otherwise. The next puzzle is a bit weird, but it's definitely not that hard. Nah, never mind, I'm abandoning this one. This one actually looks way too difficult. I actually only need a few more puzzles anyway to make it to the final bit of the game. But because of that, our professor almost gets crushed by the vertical Beyblade. In the next puzzle we have to find an arrow hidden in the different lines. If you know where to look, it's really nothing, and I know where to look, so it's really nothing. The next one is also easy. Oh shit, it's another slider puzzle. Easy. We get some story stuff, but who cares? Because it's finally time to beat this game. What do you mean I have to solve 5 more puzzles before I can reach the end game? That's bullshit. I was convinced I needed 70, not 75. Damn. So I do a few more easy puzzles that I'm actually not gonna explain. You will just see them pop up on the screen while I'm actually just yapping here and telling you that you should subscribe to the channel. Because surely you want to, right? Okay, I understand why you wouldn't. So it's fine. It's totally fine. You don't have to. But if I had a cute cat, maybe you would, right? No? Come on. Maybe a dog then. What? What kind of monster are you? Either way, we finally make our way into the tower and get greeted with more story stuff. I cannot understand it, so I don't care. But we can finally climb it. We start to climb with a sliding puzzle. That's completely fine, just get the worst part out of the way, you know? It wasn't easy, but I did it finally. That took a bit out of me, man. The next puzzle is a magic square. Yeah, I haven't done one of those in a long time, so this one actually took me quite a bit as well. I'm not exaggerating, I was actually breaking my brain on this one. The next puzzle was even worse. It was a multiple choice puzzle. What the fuck? Why? Why a multiple choice in the endgame? That's fine, I guess. But the next puzzle was a slider puzzle. Why? No, why? That one again took really long. Because well, it's a freaking slider puzzle. And honestly, my energy was gone by then. The next puzzle requires us to try different combinations with the cards while reading. Yeah, this is where it stops being fun. I couldn't figure it out and there were 120 different solutions. Yeah, I'm looking this up, because otherwise this video would end in a complete anti-climax, and I don't want that. The next puzzle was luckily just some mathematics and not really anything spectacular. And the puzzle after that, the last puzzle, yeah, there were a lot of different solutions, so I gave up. Yeah, I gave up at that point. I was tired, I couldn't do it, and I looked it up. I know, this is another anti-climax thing, but I really wanted to beat the game at that point. And I'd rather be honest with you, and that's that. That's the game, that's the challenge beaten. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this challenge, I'm not gonna lie. But I was very limited in the end there, and I was not good enough to beat it without looking up the answers for 2 of the puzzles. This is one of the challenges I'm probably never gonna retry. Maybe with the older Professor Layton games, but with this game, I don't see it happening. This game is fantastic though, so you should honestly play it for yourself. In the right language, of course, because a challenge like this is kinda stupid, especially for a game like this. But that's what I'm here for. Either way, subscribe and like, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.